And we're live. I think. I hope. Every time I turn the thing on, I always got my fingers crossed, hoping that I'm going live when I say I'm going live. Like I got a victim in here already. Perfect. Bring on the victims. The more the merrier. I always like to get on here a minute or two early to welcome anybody that's wants to join me in showing up early for the show. If I can get, let's see here, let's get rid of my pop-ups, crazy things. If somebody can give me, hey, Aaron, you're the first one on, my first victim. How you doing, buddy? The usual suspects. I love it. And I mean that with all due respect and warmth and love. 22 Q Cat. Hello, Captain and Aaron. Happy Friday. Yes. And Kathy McGinnis. Hi, Captain. Oh, General. Okay, General. Ron. General. No. I got a long ways to go before I get promoted to that. I probably stand a chance of demotion than promotion. Just ask anybody I know. I'm assuming the mic works. Anybody give me a good mic check before I get too crazy, because I could be sitting here talking to myself, which I am anyways. Yeah, guys, we hear you. Well, thank you very much. Thank you. It works. Right on. I always have to check. It's first thing of nothing else matters unless my microphone works. If microphone doesn't work, then whatever the hell I talk about is meaningless, and it could possibly be meaningless to begin with, but that's a different topic. Anyways, so I'm glad everybody's here. Hopefully we'll get a few more people coming on. Maybe Lance will jump on. There's a few of the usual suspects that I'd love to see. And Ron's here, Kathy's here, Aaron's here. Nice little crowd. You guys are great. 12:01. I'm running late, people. I'm sorry. All right. Anyways, welcome to the Campfire Chat. I've even got cheat sheet. I always do. It's my paper brains. If I don't have my paper brains with me, I wander around bumping into stuff. So, hey, please like and subscribe. There, got that out of the way. Everybody knows how to hit the button. You probably, maybe many of you already have. That's fine, but I appreciate it. Anybody that happens to drop in the next couple of weeks, if you like the content, please like and subscribe. Thank you. Is there anybody on here that hasn't been here before? And I'm flying by the seat of my pants. Obviously, Aaron, Ron. If you haven't been here before, you haven't been here before. Kathy, welcome. I appreciate you dropping in. I really, really do. And if there's anybody else, and if I missed you, my bad. I apologize. But I appreciate everybody stopping in. Quick Captain Carnivore update. Personal note, I did accept a new position at my employer. Pretty excited about that. After 37 years of partaking in my trade, I have chosen to do another path. Same employment, same work area, same people, just different tasks. That's all. Anyways, personal update. I'm pretty excited about it. My wife is excited about it. She just looks at me and she says, "You're going to be happier from here on out." And I'm going, "Oh yeah, I'm always happy." Look, I'm smiling. I'm Captain Carnivore. I almost said Captain Chaos. That's my stepson. We're part of the captain class, but I call him Captain Chaos. I'm Captain Carnivore, but occasionally I might call myself Captain Chaos, justifiably so. Anyways, I digress. One of the first things on the docket that I'll throw out there is I try to keep the comment of the week coming, and I like to fit that in here early. So, and I've gotten quite a few comments. This one here's a fun one. And this one is living the dream today. Darn phone call. Aaron, the bane of our existence, our phones. Love-hate relationship right there. Let me tell you. There's a reason why my screen is cracked. Anyways, I won't get into that. But anyways, comment of the week. And if anybody here is, I'm assuming most of us are, if you're not eating the carnivore lifestyle, you're probably particularly aware, or else you just jumped onto this live to see what the hell I'm talking about. But anyways, comment of the week comes in from somebody called Panda Power Bowls. Power Bowls. Kind of a cool name. Panda Power Bowls. Anyways, this person writes, I got bored of carnivore and switched to the Mediterranean diet, but then found out how expensive fruit and veg cost and switched back to carnivore. Way cheaper. So why did I pick this one? You could argue that it could be way cheaper. You could eat carnivore and it could be way more expensive. It depends on what route you want to take. But you might find out that on a vegetable and fruit diet, Mediterranean or the standard American diet, or whatever, all the fun ones that we have, most of us have probably had, is that you might find yourself eating 2, 3, 4, 5 times a day. Maybe you never quit eating. Maybe you eat all the way through the day. Some of us did that. And you may think, well, gee, my meals, I'm only eating $2 or $3 worth of food right here. This is cheap. And you do that 4 or 5 times a day. Before you know it, you got a grocery bill on your hands. Now, I don't know about you, but ever since I've been on the carnivore lifestyle, carnivore diet, I eat a lot of food, but I eat it all at once. And I only eat once a day. Some of us eat twice, whatever works for you. And so when it all comes together, then my food bill is significantly less than what I could be eating as far as the diet goes. That's why I chose this comment, is that it's interesting to hear this person go, I switched from carnivore to the Mediterranean. Maybe they thought it was going to be less expensive, only to find out that in their particular case, that didn't happen. So anyways, that was the comment of the week. What do we got here? We've got, Ocean Hummer. Hello, Ocean Hummer. You are from the Pacific Northwest, from the arid part of Washington, if I remember correctly. Maybe the whole damn state is arid by now. I mean, I'm in North Idaho, so it's only like 187 degrees here. So at least it feels like it. But welcome aboard. I'm glad to see you back. And I don't think you were here last week, if I remember correctly, but I am sure glad you stopped by. I'm glad that everybody's here, to be honest with you. Hey, more the merrier. Bring them on. All right. I don't see Stoker in here yet. And the topic of this week's the topic of this week's topic, if I could be redundant for a moment, was something that Stoker had asked me last week. Eastern Washington. Oh, that was my stomping grounds, Eastern Washington. And that was to talk about my alcoholism and the drinking thereof and my recovery thereof and all those kind of fun things. Ocean Hummer says it's not just a total dollar spent, but nutritional value from each dollar spent. Boy, howdy. Yeah, that's the truth there, right? That is the truth. Arguably, I could spend 3 times less money and get 5 times more health value. Of course, I'm picking numbers out of the air, but I bet I'm not too far off. Anyways, so I tell you what, I'm hoping that Stoker does show up, because I kind of called this out because he was the one that requested it. I might shift gears here, and unless he pops in. Stoker from Ontario. This time I remembered. There he is. You are here. I was just talking about you, Stoker. The whole topic of the whole show revolves around you, by the way. Anyways, not about you, but you're the one that requested this, which I'm more than happy to oblige by. Happens to do with my former life, my old life, my former life before now. Let's put it that way. And that was from being a chronic drinker, an everyday consumer, an overindulger, more often than not under the influence, possibly with the exception of maybe a few hours during the workday. But I digress. Now I'm just kidding. Most of the workday, I was not under the influence. Let's see here. Aaron, my phone call was about a stress test coming up due to a high CAC score. They tell me to bring a snack, and halfway through, they suggested donut, cookies. Good Lord, Aaron. What are they trying to do? Kill you? Jeez. I thought they're supposed to be on your side. Oh, that's a good one. Anyways, Stoker, appreciate the reach. You reached out last week, asked me if I'd do something about my history of drinking. So anyways, I'm not going to bore you to tears with the whole history of drinking. If you know anything about drinkers, we drink, or drank rather, in my case. And 6 years sober. Good for you. Good for you. I'm just a little, I'm coming up on a year and a half, but 6 years, that is awesome. Good for you. So my original path started 30, I don't know, almost 40 years ago. And it starts off easy. Beer. I remember my first one, Henry Weinhardt's Blue Boar. I don't even know if they make it anymore. Probably not. Anyways, so years and years go on. It's the thing to do. I'm young and dumb. Now I'm old and dumb, but young and dumb at the time. And beer's cheap. Beer is easy. I even get into the hobby of brewing beer. I was a hobby brewer. Anyways, brewer of beer for decades. I love the hobby. To be honest with you, I probably still do love the hobby, although it's a thing of my past. Anyways, so did it wreak havoc on my marriage? Yeah, I'm on marriage number 2. Is it the cause of my marriage number 1 becoming a former marriage? Maybe, maybe not. I would argue that no, it wasn't. For reasons that is not, nobody's business. It's just old history anyways. It goes back too far. It's all right, Stoker. You're late, never late. You're always on time. Feeling amazing at 78. Yes. All right. That's what I like to hear. So I drink and therefore I was drunk. And I spent a lot of time in that condition. So what did that prove? After a while, it became my routine. Obviously, like most people that drink all the time, it's part of your routine. Now, was it you, Kathy? Yeah, Kathy, you drink 2 glasses of wine every evening. Now, I'm sure that became like routine. It was almost expected of yourself, not from anybody else possibly, but I mean, it's like, oh, it's 5 o'clock or it's 6 o'clock or it's whatever o'clock you may think it is. It's like that's my cue. Time to go. Time to get started. And Carnivore Rebel, hey, welcome aboard. Are you the one did I subscribe to you the other day? I think I did. Can't remember. Anyways, I hope to subscribe and describe or any other scribes that I can think of for anybody that's on here. If I've missed you, let me know. I'd like to jump on. Anyways, back to drinking. An old former favorite subject of mine. I could have had a whole entire YouTube channel, podcast. Hell, I could have made a living doing it. As a matter of fact, I did work at a winery for a couple of years. To be honest with you, you could argue that I did make a living doing it. But so as time goes on, and by the way, my current wife, we just celebrated our 30 years of our first introduction to one another. So we've been together for a long time, and she's endured a lot of this. I was not an angry drinker, angry drunk. I was a very loving, kind, and fun to be around, which was, if you're going to be a drinker, that's the way to be. Anyways, so after a while, I come to the grips of like, you know what, the real, after all these decades, like, okay, I got to start growing up. I got to start realizing what I'm doing to myself. It's not pleasant for the people that I'm around. And especially when you drink excessively occasionally. And I didn't excessively drink all the time, but when I did, I did. And then when you do it more. It becomes routine. And then you start thinking, well, after a few decades, well, this is sustainable. That's the part that you're wrong. It's not sustainable. It's just the complete opposite. So, like I said, it was February of last year. Not this February, but the February before last. I took my last drink. And I had graduated from drinking beer. And like I said, I did work at a winery, so I could appreciate wine. I made my own mead, for crying out loud. I loved mead. Who wouldn't? But I graduated to guess what? Bourbon. Who wouldn't have done that too? If you're a drinker, man, if you're a professional drinker, you could argue that your drink of choice is probably bourbon or something close to it. Anyways, that's not a good progression. To me, it was a sign of like, I don't even want to think about what's next in my sustainability of being an alcoholic. And then I thought, you know what is, first I made the mistake of finding out, I calculated how much money I spent on this stuff in 1 week, which was shocking. I had no real problem affording it. I was just curious. And it's like, you got to be kidding me. And of course, then you take a week and you turn it into 4 weeks. You go, I am spending this much money every month for this. And then you go times that by 12. That's how much you spend in a year, my friend. And then you go, let's go for the big one. How long you been drinking? 35 years times 35. And then you go, my God, I have subjected myself to this much. Where would I be now if I had all that money? Right? It adds up. So then I thought, okay, well, can't go back in time. Let's fix this. Now, at that time, I had already been eating carnivore for a year and a half, maybe, but I was not drinking carnivore. I was eating carnivore. There is a substantial difference in the definition between the two, because all the while I was enjoying my carnivore lifestyle, but I was not drinking the carnivore lifestyle. So, I mean, what benefits did I have? Not full benefits. Let's put it that way. I did have some, of course, but let's be real here. I did not have the full benefit of eating a carnivore diet. Now, it was, and I'm going to go back on one other issue here in a second. This is not the first time I quit drinking. And I'm going to touch on the first time here in a second. But this time, I was like, you know what? I made myself my last old fashioned, grabbed a hold of it. Like, you've been good. I'm all done with you, friend. Time for you to leave. So anyways, I drank my last old fashioned. That was my favorite drink. And haven't looked back. Now, I remember I've done a couple of interviews with Dave Mack, and when I was I wasn't going into this depth of drinking, but I did bring up the fact that I was no longer a drinker. And he asked me, he says, do you have any idea of whether or not being carnivore had any impact on your ability to quit drinking? And I never really thought about it. And it was like, you know what? Now that I think about it, I didn't have a problem quitting drinking. It really wasn't that big of an issue, because some people just go like, oh yeah, this is the worst thing ever. It's worse. It's right up there with quitting smoking, or name the crux, right? I didn't suffer that way. It just was a new transition for me. It was like, oh, This is not complicated. This is simple. And if anybody has watched my channel for a few minutes, you may have heard me talk about simplicity, routine, and sustainability. So the whole damn thing was super simple for me. Like, it's just stop drinking. It's like when I look at my wife, I said, "Hey, listen, you tell me not to do something, I'm your guy. You know, don't go over there. Fine, I won't. There, see that? I just did that." So the fundamental thing of quit drinking. Okay. I was like, okay, number one, I have to think of it simply, just simply quit doing it, which I did. After I did it long enough, I was like, oh, well, this is routine. This is the way things are. It's routine for me. And then before you know it, after a few months, and I'm not thinking about it every day. And I am not going to lie to you, the first couple of days, like, yeah, what's one thing that I'm missing in my life right now that I've had for all these years? But after a few months, it was all sustainable. I don't have any desire for it. It's weird, but it's fantastic. But I wanted to go back real quick and talk about the one other time that I quit drinking. And that was, oh my God, probably 7-8 years ago. And it was like a bet to myself. And it's like, and I've talked about this thing about goals and milestones and all this kind of stuff, lifestyle differences, all these terms that I have used, and I have redefined the terms. Well, one of them was like, I'm going to set a goal, kind of like people going on a diet. I'm going to lose 20 pounds. Well, I set a goal, like I'm going to quit drinking for a year, not for the week or the weekend. I mean, I could do that. That's not that big a deal. I mean, is it fun when you're an alcoholic? No, but it's doable. But a whole year, now you're going to commit to that time frame of struggle. And like I said, this was 6-7 years ago. I don't remember exactly how long, but I did do it a whole year. But the problem was that I had set it out to be just a goal. Like, all right. When I got there, I was like, I made it to the finish line, guys. I did it. I pat myself on the back. Rah, 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 me. I had no intention, no mindset, no thought about turning it into, well, what could be considered a lifestyle. In other words, a life without drinking. That was a mistake, because it was very, very shortly thereafter that I thought, well, you know what? It's kind of like those people that quit smoking for a couple of months or whatever, and like, I'm just going to have one. And, I didn't go for a straight old fashioned at the time. It was a beer. Beers go easy, especially on a cold beer on a hot day type of thing. That was it. Game over. Back in the saddle. Just picked up where I left off. And it didn't even occur to me that I just spent a year shaking this thing, getting it behind me, and conquered it. I mean, this was not an easy task. This was under the influence of the standard American diet, for Christ's sake. And yet I had done it. And yet within, like that, one crack of a bottle on a cold beer, game over, done. So I bring that up as a way to remind myself of basically, number one, the difference between a goal and a lifestyle. So when I went a year and a half ago, or whatever it's been since I took my last drink in February before last, it was under the mindset of like, okay, I've gone down this path one other time, and I know what it was. Basically, my mindset was to think of it as a goal. Like, yeah, I accomplished something. I did something really cool, really great. I wanted to see if I could do it. Yeah, I did it. And then it's behind me. That's not how it's going to work this time. I mean, yeah, did I celebrate? I celebrated 1 year. I think I got on here on YouTube and told everybody. That was my way of celebrating. Or I sent out a post. I can't remember. Maybe I did both. I can't remember. But it was like the first year, it's a milestone. It's a stake in the trail. But the trail goes on all the way to the end. And I'm not going to stop and camp out at the marker and make that my new home. In other words, that my goal. That's not it. The goal is to go until I'm pushing daisies of being completely free of alcohol. So anyways, Stoker, that one was for you, buddy. That's how I did it. If I was a drinker today and I was not eating the carnivore lifestyle and I wanted or needed or was required to or requested to, whatever pushes you to the limit of coming to the crossroad in your life of having to quit drinking. And I'm just speaking from, I'm just some guy on YouTube. I mean, I don't have a D and R. I don't have anything in front of my name except Captain, Captain Carnivore, at times Captain Chaos. But anyways, I have no experience except nothing but my own. But if I was a current drinker and if I was not on the carnivore lifestyle, I would recommend, off the basis of my own personal experience, to maybe not jump onto the no drinking wagon immediately. I would jump onto the no carbohydrate eating wagon immediately. To me, that was almost like an unknown, unforeseen secret that I didn't even, matter of fact, I didn't even really think about until Dave Mack asked me. I was like, wait a minute, click. Like, that, to me, that's what really worked the best, was the fact that I realized that I had kicked my carb addiction, my carb habit, carbohydrate, intake down to maybe 1 or 2 carbs a week on accident, that kind of thing, to where the alcohol, for some reason, for me, maybe for everybody, I don't know. But if somebody were to come to me and say, I want help to quit drinking, how'd you do it? That's what I would tell them. Now, if your doctor said you got 1 week to live, quit drinking, and you are hell bent on quitting and drinking, I would quit drinking. I'd quit everything. I'd quit everything except breathing, and I would do it immediately. But to quit carbohydrates, to jump onto a new lifestyle diet and quit the whole damn thing, I could not do that sustainably. Maybe some could, some can't. I have no idea. But I have had a couple of people reach out to me, even on through YouTube comments in the last year. Every time that I bring up the topic of drinking, like, I've got a drinking problem, any advice? Like, all I have is free advice that is derived from my experience. That is it. I mean, I have no professional opinion. I am just some guy on YouTube. So that is my main discussion for the day. Stoker, you brought that upon me. You love it. Thanks, Luke. Hey, Stoker. No, thank you. I'll tell you something else about alcoholism. When you're an alcoholic, you know what the hardest thing in the world to talk about is your alcoholism. Nobody who's an alcoholic wants to sit around a table with a bunch of people and talk about how stupid they are as they're sitting there drinking, talking about their alcoholism. Not a very comfortable topic to talk about. I can talk about it 24 hours a day. I don't like to. I don't want to. It's not something that I'm proud of. I mean, am I happy and proud of the fact that I conquered it? Well, yeah. I guess if you were to ask me if I had to do it all over again, would you do it all over again, or would you do something different? Hell, I don't know. I'm not one of those people that sits around and goes, you know what if I hadn't done this, or what if I hadn't done that? Well, I'll tell you what, everything that I've done, more often than not, all the bad junk that I've done and all the awful things, you could argue that has led me to where I am today. Very happily married. My kids love me. My grandson can't think enough highly of me. My employer loves me to death. And I love you guys. I'm here. I'm building a YouTube channel. I'm doing all this kind of fun stuff. So arguably you could say, no, I wouldn't change a thing, even though that I damn near destroyed myself and everybody around me, laying waste with my self-destruction of drinking alcohol. So would I change anything? Who cares? Who cares? It doesn't matter. I can't do it anyway. So who cares? Anyways, Lance says old fashioned was my go-to. I preferred whiskey on the rocks. 7 to 8 weeks carnivore, and I stopped drinking. No issues, no regret. That's what I'm talking about, Lance. That is what I'm talking about. By the way, congratulations. Good for you. Good for you. I agree, Luke. Being on the way of eating for a while made it so simple to stop drinking. It also helped me quit tobacco. Good for you. Holy cow. I was never a tobacco user, but good for you. That was tougher, but carnivore way of eating made it possible. I hear you. I think that's kind of the underlying secret. Maybe not for everybody, maybe not for anybody, but it worked for me and it's worked for you. I did some stupid shit while drinking. Good thing in my prime there were no cell phones. Dodged the bullet there. Oh, I think we're almost on the same age. Yeah, dude. Jeez. Yeah, things that could have been caught on film via a cell phone. I don't even know how it's done today with the youth. Maybe they're not adventurous some of us we were, but God almighty. Yeah. We survived. Here we are, Lance. Here we are. Stoker quitting to a see, I don't understand what that is, Stoker. Quitting tobacco was the easiest thing I've ever done. I've done it 1,000. What was the easiest thing I've ever done? I've done it 1,000 times. Do you quit? Are you talking about quitting a tobacco every time you put a cigarette out? I don't know. Pardon me if I'm poking fun at something I shouldn't be. Ron says, I call them cell phones as in S cell. Yeah, boy, isn't that the truth? These things are connected to every possible thing in the world. Well, they're connected to everything in the world. What am I saying? Anyways, that's my long form topic for drinking. And if you guys got any questions about the drinking thing, I mean, Lance, you're an old former pro like myself. It sounds like, but really, when it comes down to, there's a lot of overthinking that can happen. This is my personal opinion, especially when it comes to drinking. It's like there's a lot of overthinking involved. Like, oh my God, if I quit doing this and this is going to happen and I can't do this and I can afford to blah, 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 blah. Like, stop. All we're asking you to do is to stop doing something. Just stop doing something. I mean, I'm not asking the people to quit breathing. You may think that is like close to quitting breathing if the hook is set in deep enough, but you just stop doing something. And it's really that simple. To me, like I try to take the mountain of problem, the mount problem, and reduce it down to such a finite, stupid, small, something that is easy to comprehend by anybody and everybody. These are all problems in my life. Try to bring them down into focus. And then it's like, how important is it? Quitting drinking? Extremely important. It's important to me, important to my family, important to my everything, my marriage, the whole damn thing. Of course it's important. And all I had to do was just quit doing something and voila. So there's the secret. Well, at least it worked for me. I was a heavy drinker years ago, especially after my brother died. I now have occasional fine whiskey on the rocks, but rare. Aaron, I tell you what, I don't fault you for that for a second. And I'm going to tell you why. If I knew that I had enough self-control over myself, and by the way, I actually was sitting right here in this exact seat. I had a whole cabinet right, almost arm's reach from me, full of some very nice bourbons, primarily bourbons. There was other drinks involved, but primarily bourbon, which was my chosen drink. And I had left them there for like 3 months after I quit drinking. Didn't touch them. Didn't do anything with them. They just sat there and looked at me. And my wife was at the sink doing dishes or something. And I asked her, I said, would you do me a favor? And it's not that I couldn't gotten up and done it myself, but I think I wanted her to partake in it because she's the one and it suffered just as much as anybody with my consistent drinking. I asked her to dump it all down the drain. She didn't even ask why. She didn't ask when. It was almost like she just was chomping at the bit, waiting for, because it was my booze, not hers. She's not going to dump it down the drain unless I tell her to or ask her to. Well, I asked her. I said, would you do me a favor and dump it down the drain? 5 minutes later, that stuff is all soaking down the pipes down into the city well or wherever it goes. So, I mean, what do you do? And then that was kind of like the final nail in the coffin. Not that I hung on to it thinking I was going to relapse back or anything. It was just one of those things I did. It's like, I'm looking at a lot of money sitting there, but I don't care. A lot of money, it ain't going to do nobody any good anyways. Money's already spent and gone. So all that's left is chaos, death, and destruction to my liver and my family and everything else. So dump it down the drain. Old history. Anyways. In my military days, Lance says I could spend my paycheck on a weekend drinking, live off of mess hall food. The next 11 days, I was a pro. Took breathalyzer tests often many times, and I was above being dead. Lance, you're an animal. But yeah, I am not a former military guy, but I hear you. I hear you. You take the weekend, you take your money, you dump it into a weekend, and then you live off mess food. I'm glad you even survived just the mess hall, from what I understand. Yes, Stoker says, North Dakota, I was in the Navy. Drinking was an expected way of life. The military makes it easy. So real quick, back in the beginning of this entire conversation, I told you about my very first drink, which was a Henry Weinhardt's Blue Boar ale. It doesn't really matter what the hell it was, but that's what it was, because I remember it, believe it or not. After all the tens of millions of drinks I ever had, I still remember the first one, I guess. I had just moved in, or I just moved out of the house as a young man, underage, but still, and I was going to college. I moved in with a relative of mine, former military, present day alcoholic. Still is a present day alcoholic, and obviously he's still former military. So but that's where his story started. And within days, not that I had anything to do with the military, but that's when my story started. So anyways, little sidetrack there. It says, Lance says, my wife dumped my whiskeys out this spring. I went to make bourbon glaze for salmon. No bourbon. Where did it go? She said, you don't drink. So I dumped it. You got a hell of a woman, Lance. Good for her. Good for her. Okay. So you were going to make a bourbon glaze for your salmon. So it's funny you said that. Now, it sounds like that you don't have any problem throwing together some good food, especially over a grill. And I don't proclaim to be any. I'm no stranger around cookware. Let's put it that way. I am no pro. I just make food that doesn't make you throw up, and everybody loves it and comes back for seconds and thirds. But anyways, not that long ago, I have been working on. Oh, I got bags of the crap here. Everybody knows I make my homemade jerky and everything. So I had this crazy idea. I'm going to make a cherry bourbon jerky. And I'm thinking, now, why would I do that? You don't drink anymore. And I thought, well, hell, anybody that knows anything about alcohol is you put some heat to it, it's gonna evaporate the alcohol. Yeah, and you ain't got nothing but yummy flavor left over. Long story short, my wife says, well, what are you going to do about the bourbon? I said, well, I'm going to go down to the liquor store and I'm going to buy one of those little teeny bottles. And I said, but I'm not going to drink it. And I didn't, by the way. I did make a batch of the jerky and it tastes like shit. So I did. Nobody wanted it. Nobody liked it, but it sure smelled good. But bad idea. But now I know. So I spent $2.50, $3 on a little teeny bottle of bourbon, some cherry juice, and whatever else I threw in there. It all smelled great. It tasted awful. So I had to throw the rest of the bourbon out that I had left along with the jerky. But anyways, side note there. You went to go grab some bourbon to make some glaze for your salmon, and your wife already took care of business. Get that out of here. That's awesome. Let's see here. Yeah, Lance says you are so right, Stoker. Military makes up pros at drinking. Boy, yes, it does. And like I said, I am no military. I don't have a military background. I've lived with them. I got them as family members. I work with them. I mean, who doesn't? But it does come easy from what I understand if you're in the military. It was honey bourbon glaze for smoked salmon I made for my daughter. I didn't even try it. Daughter said it was better than any salmon she ever had. Well, I bet it was. Sounds delicious. And I love salmon, by the way. Anyways, enough drinking stories. This isn't the Captain Carnivore drinking session. Maybe 2 years ago, I sure as hell could have. We'd all be sitting around here knocking a few back. But anyways, not today. So let's move on. My cheat sheet says right here, I need to move on. Quit blabbering about booze, or else you're going to succumb to the pressure. Nah, I'm not going to do that. Anyways, Captain update. I even wrote this down myself. What have I been working on lately? Obviously, I make jerky all the damn time. Nomad. Sorry, you got the big hand. You got the big hand right there. I'm going to call you Nomad. Welcome aboard. Where are you coming from? I know some of you guys, Lance coming from North Dakota. Stoker, you're from Ontario. I called it out right this time. You're from Ontario. Ron, I know you're from Michigan, buddy. Nomad, where are you signing in from? I always like to know. I'm not gonna Southern Oregon. Ooh, my wife and I love to go to the Oregon coast every 2, maybe 3 years. Currently, we're up here in northern Idaho. And Cynthia's from Iowa. That's right. Indiana, Iowa, from all over the world. We got a melting pot here, people. I love it. By the way, thanks everybody again. I'm a very thankful individual. Southern California for a carnivore rebel. You see, we're from all over the place. It's a big melting pot. Nothing but love here at the Captain Carnivore Campfire chat. Let me tell you. Aaron is from near Buffalo, New York, between there and Niagara Falls. Aaron, you're a rebel too. Everybody is. Captain Carnivore's latest update. What am I making? Now, if you don't know anything about me, you ought to at least know something that I make everything. And I'm not talking food. I have to make, I fill my everything. I make all my wife's jewelry. I don't know if you can hear it or not. I got 3D printers in the background printing like crazy, making burger presses that I've got on my website. I've got literally right here. Why do I need one of these? I don't even know if I can pick it up. I'm making my second chainmail shirt. Why not? Everybody needs one. If everybody thinks they need one, I need two. So I've got a chainmail shirt in the works. There's a worthwhile project for somebody. It's completely worthless, but by God, it's a lot of fun. I make the knives. I make everything. So what am I making? What's my latest thing that I'm making? I'm making jerky, of course. I'm making jerky, making all kinds of jerky. I got some PDFs coming out eventually. That's in the future. Anyways, what am I making now? I am making my own electrolytes. And why would I do that? It's not hard. It's not even a new thing. Well, arguably everything that I do is nothing new to the world. But my wife and I, we do drink a popular known brand of electrolyte. And I don't know if you know this or not, but the shit's expensive. It drives me crazy. It's good. It works. And it's by far the best I've ever had. So I never have had a real issue or problem throwing money at it. And that's really not the whole problem anyways. The whole problem is me. I am my own worst enemy. I have to make everything. So as of a couple of weeks ago, I thought, I'm going to make my own. I mean, it's simple, you know, this is going to be easy. Come to find out, after I've made several batches and I'm writing down notes, you know, I'm being methodical about it. I'm like a mad chemist. Mad as in crazy. My wife would underscore crazy wholeheartedly. But I take all these little stupid notes, modify, adjust, play with, and I'll be damned if it tastes really good, like really good. And then I thought, well, what am I looking at for bottom line here? I mean, just for fun. And instead of the unnamed, but oftentimes, easily recognizable electrolyte that all of us carnivores have probably come across in one form or another, I don't know what it costs per serving. We'll call it packet, if you will. $1.20, $1.50, $2. I don't even know what it actually is. 50 cents doesn't really matter. But I'm making mine for like 8 cents for a quart or something. So I mean, what is that? 15 cents a gallon, 20 cents a gallon. Anyways, it's a lot of fun. I'm not doing anything new. I'm not doing anything crazy, but it is something new, at least for me. So I wrote that down here. I'm still working on the recipe, if you want to call it a recipe, but I do like being in control of what I am making. That for me, you take open a little packet and you go whoosh, tear the top off, and you got this stuff inside. And you look on the back of the pack and you go, oh, that's what's in here. And then it says, it may say or may not, I'm not speaking in particular to any one particular brand, but it may say artificial flavorings. What the hell is that? Now that doesn't mean I'm opposed to artificial flavorings. And I use artificial flavorings. I mean, who doesn't? But if I'm going to partake in artificial flavorings and I am making something that's going to use artificial flavorings, by God, I know what those artificial flavorings are, I guess, to put it that way. I like being in control. I'm a control freak. What can I say? Especially when I'm making something. So my latest invention, I am not inventing anything, but my latest venture is making electrolytes. I'm having a blast. Hey, if I come across any new discoveries, I'll share it with everybody. All right. But there's nothing new under the sun, but it is a hell of a lot of fun. Let's see here. Cynthia, you also make your own electrolytes. Fantastic. Thanks for the reminder, Luke. Just ordered the half-pound. Oh, really? Well, thank you, sir. Thank you. Can you use, let's see here. I got 30 for $20. Ron, are you talking about the packets? You talking about the electrolytes? Bear with me as I'm trying to catch up here. I'm probably eight comments behind. If I miss your comment, for God's sake, forgive me. I'm just Luke. Anyways, can you use smoked salt? And as far as in the electrolyte, you can use probably whatever salt you want. I personally am flavoring. Okay, yes. Yeah, you got, so 30 for $20. So that's actually under $1 a piece. That's probably not too bad. I'll tell you what, I just got a big box right there, Ron. My wife picked it up at the mail house just the other day, and I buy like a 3-month supply of that stuff. It cost me just short of a newborn, and it's not that I have a problem with it, because it works. It works great. I love the stuff. My wife likes it. But I want to make something that's mine. I'm not trying to mimic anybody. I'm not trying to make an exact duplicate or a copycat version thereof. I'm making mine. I'm making Captain Carnivore's electrolytes. And I'm doing it for 14 cents a gallon, by God, hell or high water. Now, my next thing I have to do, which I haven't done yet, is get my wife to drink some of it. That's my next goal. Get my wife to drink some of it. And if she doesn't spit it out, by God, I'm keeping it. And I might even share share everything that I learned with everybody. Okay. When is your stress test, Aaron? Cindy, yes, crazy that they are telling you to bring sweets. Oh, yeah, it's absolutely absurd. Give me a break. Lance, Aaron, I need to buy a new meat slicer. My wife got rid of the old one. 30 years old, made funny noises. So I need to get a new one. Dear God, Lance, I'm glad my wife doesn't think like that. I started making funny noises over 30 years, and thank God she didn't toss me aside. Oh, you're talking about the meat slicer. Sorry. Anyways, then I can make my jerky. I have 2 round roasts to slice up and dehydrate. Lance, what, brother from another mother. That's exactly what I use. And I think I actually used the last out of my freezer last week because I made actually what I did do. You can't tell, it's in a plastic bag. Who the hell cares? It's jerky. But my grandson comes out and he says, hey, Grandpa, hey, the jerky you're making is fine and everything, but it's carnivore jerky. Can you make some of that Christmas stuff? You know, the stuff that you make around Christmas time. And I said, oh, you mean jerky candy? He goes, yeah, that stuff. So I made a whole batch. And, we're talking with loaded down with brown sugar, honey, and 50 other things that doesn't belong in there if it's going to come down to being a carnivore jerky. But I was not trying to make carnivore jerky. I'm trying to make my grandson trying to keep the tradition alive. Same thing with all the other kids. So I made a batch of that. It was great. I have a piece once in a while. I hope I don't have my carnivore card revoked for partaking in the it is homemade, but it does have honey in it and it's got brown sugar, all that nasty stuff. But I'm still here. You ain't gonna put me down that easy. All right. Okay. Let's see here. We've got so Aaron, you're loading up on donuts now before you go in. Oh, you devil, you. Have you tried pork tenderloin with fine popcorn salt? Tastes like a potato chip. I have not. Where's my paper? Sorry, I got rings on. I slapped my table. It sounds like I'm writing it down right now, Lance. Tenderloin. I'll tell you what about tenderloin. I've eaten a mountain of that stuff. You want to know why? Because it's free. when I was younger with a family, and let's face it, I could take a Lincoln and squeeze him so hard to make him cry. That's how much we pinch pennies around here. And you can get a pork loin for, we'll call it free. Still can. Pretty cost effective. But to use popcorn salt on it, tastes like a potato chip. I'm writing that down right now here. Look at that. Because I might just come across some accidentally, intentionally, as I'm shopping for my normal go-to routine. The next time I'm at the big store, call it Costco. That's where I normally go out of convenience. Maybe not for the best price. Nobody cares. I go there because it is a good deal. They always have what I want, and it's right down the road. Let's see here. Fine popcorn salt. Yeah, why not? Sounds delicious on a pork tenderloin potato chip. God, I'm doing that, by the way. I actually prefer dehydrated pork tenderloin. It takes up flavors wonderfully. I've never tried the popcorn salt though. We'll have to give it a try. I'm behind the 8 ball here. I'm behind. You guys are all. I'm doing it. Here I'm wasting my time dehydrating beef. Come on. Although I will say that I do dehydrate, if you want to call it dehydrate, bacon. And I do it frequently. That's another holiday treat for the kids, by the way. Say you got some kids, you got yourself dehydrator, you got some bacon, and you may or may not eat some of it yourself. Won't hold it against you if you do. Take your bacon, throw it in the dehydrator tray. Sprinkle brown sugar over the top of it. Grab yourself a little container of maple syrup with one of those little scrubby brushes things, and just go kind of like you're painting the back tail of a cat, turn them into a skunk. Just right down the back with some maple syrup. Throw it in the dehydrator until it's done the way you like it. Thank me later. Kids will too. It's bacon candy. And the kids around here, my grandkids and everybody else, God, they feel like it's Christmas every week. Anyways, they wish it was. Man, yeah, make Lincoln cry. Say, squeezing poop out of a buffalo nickel. Ocean Hummer, I've got every time somebody says something, I can resonate with it. I'm going to come back to the buffalo nickel here in a second. You're all going to learn something that you may or may not know about me, but I'm going to come back to that comment just a second, Ocean Hummer. Hold on. Yep, Aaron, once you start using a slicer, you find more and more reasons to slice meat. My God, I need to get one. I have an old one that was gifted to me by my sister, but for all I know, it's a hand crank one that the hand and the crank don't even work. Love bacon dehydrated. Yeah, no brown sugar. I don't make mine for myself with brown sugar naturally. Don't get the wrong idea, Lance. I am a true card-carrying carnivore. I would never subject myself to repeated abuse of brown sugar and or maple syrup. Now, if I made some to abuse my family with, hell yeah, out of common respect, I don't want to be left out. I would take one piece. Dehydrated bacon is wonderful. I dehydrate everything. I do too. Well, yeah, I used to dehydrate, you name it, bananas, apricots, apples. I got that addiction from my mom. I'm sure she's running her dehydrator right now. She probably just runs it just to keep it running so it doesn't die. Is dehydrated bacon better than fried bacon? Ooh, that's a good question. I would say they're even. I mean, it is bacon after all. Okay, Ocean Hummer, let's come back to your buffalo comment. Jeez. Let me take a drink of my coffee. Look at that. I've got my own coffee mug and everything. Captain Campfire. Anyways. Pardon me while I wet the whistle. So, speaking of which, I have it on my favorite coffee coaster. Now, some of you may or may not, probably not, know that one of my secret hobbies, my wife partakes of it too, is that I am what's called or amongst many other things, and I've been called a lot of things, and some of them I'm not going to repeat here because it's somewhat of a family channel, but I am a numismatist. And what in the hell is a numismatist? I love coins. I love money. Well, I mean, of course I love money. I don't turn down money, especially when it's free, but I am a numismatist. And what the hell is that? I love sorting coins, buffalo nickels. I've got lots of them, found lots of, I shouldn't say lots of them. Have I found them? Oh yeah. Now you may say, geez, he's full of crap. I said, no, I have a full set of coffee coasters that I have made myself, 3D printed and everything. And there's a roll of pennies in there, and they're all, let me look here real quick. These are all 2023 Ds. They're all the same year. They're all nice and shiny, but I've got them set in there, some acrylic. I've made these out of nickels, not buffalo nickels. I'm not crazy. But I did design a whole stack of these. I've sold some of them through the years. But that's my coffee coaster. So anyways, there you go. You learned a little extra secret about the captain, that I am a numismatist. In other words, I have, I'll tell you what, how am I going to do this? I'm going to take a picture. You're going to get a kick out of this. Okay. I'm going to take a picture on my phone, and then I'm going to show the picture of the phone on the screen. Cause I can't, if I tear my setup down, stuff's going to fall over. So anyways, bear with me for a minute. I'm going to show you a picture. I'm going to take a picture right here. Photo. Get those papers out of the way because they have secret numbers on there that I don't want anybody to see. And I'm going to take a picture. Now, this right here is what my computer is sitting on. Boxes of pennies. So, just so you know, and you may ask yourself this. I didn't want to turn this carnivore channel into the penny channel, but where the hell do I get pennies? I've been buying boxes of pennies for a long, long time. And in case you don't know, they don't make the damn things anymore. But the bank that I have been buying them from for so long, and I was buying them in abundance for a long time. And they told me, you can't get them anymore. They don't make them anymore. We're not allowed to. And I started weeping like a small child in front of this poor woman. And she said, "Wait, stop, sir. I know you've been a loyal customer for a long, long time. Please stop crying like a child. Get a grip on yourself." And she said, I'm going to call the people. I'm going to call the masters, the coin masters. And she calls me back on the phone. She says, "Luke, I've got some great news for you." I believe she said, "I got some good news and I've got some bad news." I'm going, not one of those things again. She says, "The bad news is we can't do your normal order every week." I'm like, "Oh, geez, what's the good news?" She said, "We can do 25% of your original order every week." I'm going, at least I'm not cut off completely, right? So anyways, there's a little backstory. I'm a numismatist. I love money. I love coins. I sort that stuff out and I keep everything that looks shiny, anything that intrigues me. Pennies, I love pennies. And I'm real big on nickels, buffalo nickels. So anyways, squeezing the poop out of a buffalo nickel, I'm all in. I know all about it, probably all too well. Let's see here. Yeah, cool coasters. Thank you, Ocean Hummer. Thank you. Yeah, they are cool. I've got them in nickels. I've got with around here somewhere. Because it's just me and my wife, and she's got hers over there on her little table. She uses for her cup of coffee, and I've got mine over here, right here. It's cool. And it's just a 3D printed little container. I line up a bunch of pennies, pour in some acrylic, bada boom, bada bing. There you go. Even designed a little stack, a little rack, made 4 of them, so it holds them together like a coffee coaster set. Excuse me, pardon me. So, what else do I got here? I don't have a whole lot more. My God, it's been an hour already. I've been keeping you people from falling asleep for an hour. Damn, I'm good. Is there any questions? Number one, is there any questions? You guys are talking about popcorn salt, and by God, salt and popcorn. Let me tell you, if it wasn't an old fashioned that I do miss occasionally, it's popcorn. I love popcorn. I don't eat it anymore, but that doesn't mean I can't smell it. Anyways, I fell asleep in my meeting earlier. Ugh, that was rough. Dude, meetings are meant for sleep. That's the way I look at it. The hell with them things. It's a good time to catch up on some Z's. That's my personal opinion, though. Let's see here. Not with your boss. I've got loads of pennies from years of emptying pockets when doing laundry. You're giving me an idea of what to do with them. Ooh, I love spreading good ideas. There you go. Make yourself a custom coffee coaster, whatever the hell you call a thing. A little thing you put your coffee on. My table, believe it or not, my table holds my cup just fine. It holds everything else too, including 4 boxes of unopened pennies. But I love this thing. Like I said, I got like a pile of them over there. They're fun. They're cool. And I give them out as gifts. My mom's got a couple of them, all that kind of fun stuff. So there's nothing. They're not too well, they're flashy. I only use shiny coins because who doesn't want to see the flash? Anyways, I'm going to have to get out of here in a couple minutes. Are there any more questions for me? Drinking questions. I'm not going to tell any drinking stories. That may be a different channel. We've all got them. Lance, you probably got more than what I'll ever even could ever match up to. You're a former military guy, so you guys wrote the book on drinking stories. I did not. I just wrote my own book. Not nearly to that level, though. Going through my list here. Hey, I do have an email. Captain Carnivore Campfire. Slow down, Luke. You're getting way too fast, way too far ahead of yourself. Captain Campfire. Captain Carnivore Campfire at gmail.com. God damn, I got to get these things right. Captain Carnivore Campfire. Why did I make it so long? At gmail.com. If you guys got any comments or suggestions or tell me to quit talking all the time, throw it in there. I'll listen to you. I may not abide by your comments. I may throw it in the spam, but throw it in there anyways. I read everything. Listen, I don't know if you know this or not, but Cynthia says, where do you live? I live in Post Falls, Idaho, Panhandle, where it's hot, probably where like everything else in the planet at this point, hotter than the hinges to hell. Matter of fact, I turned the air conditioner off just so I could hear myself think while doing this, and I'm sweating. I could stay on here and talk to you guys all day, but I'd shrivel up and die because my place is turning into its own dehydrator. So I need to go turn the air conditioner on. If I do it now, then nobody will be able to hear me. So where do I live? I live in Post Falls, Idaho. My wife and I moved here coming up on 4 years. I think 4 years, 3 or 4 years ago. I should be able to count I should be able to know the difference between 3 and 4, but I don't care. But we've been here for a few years, and we love it here. Absolutely love it. That's a great question, by the way, Cynthia. Thanks for asking. I am from Eastern Washington, also, just like Ocean Hummer. I grew up, wasn't born, but I grew up in Colville, just south of probably 50, 60 miles south of the Canadian border. Lived many years in Spokane, and actually we lived several years north of Spokane in a small community called Chattaroy, and we loved it there. But we sold our homestead and we moved to Post Falls. Arguably, would love to. Maybe we should have done that a long time ago. But anyways, it was a good move for us. We have Uncle Charlie. Uncle Charlie, welcome. I'm just getting ready to sign off here. People are coming in, man. You're going to keep me on here all day at this rate. You're only 14 hours from, I should just jump in the rig and just bust over there real quick. Lance, you got some smoked salmon going? I don't think it's going to take 14 hours, but I'd keep in touch with you before I got there. It's only 14 hours. I mean, hell, I can hold my breath for 14 hours. Yeah, Uncle Charlie. Hey, I already welcomed you once. I'm going to welcome you 10 times over if I have to. Doing a stress test on Monday. Try and determine any blockages. Aaron, whatever you got coming up, buddy, I'm wishing you all the best. I really am. And that goes with anybody, to be honest with you. But Aaron, I know Aaron, by the way, all you guys that got channels out there, fantastic. I do my best to watch as much of them as I can when I can. I'm as busy as a one-arm wallpaper hanger around here. It's absolutely insane. It's insane, but life goes on. But you guys and all the people that don't have channels, come on, get a channel. We would love to have you on, but please don't forget to stop by Captain Carnivore. Hang out for an hour and 10 minutes on Fridays at noon. If you do a smoked brisket, you better invite. Yeah, smoked brisket. Ooh, it's one thing I haven't done in a long time is any smoked meat. Hard to do here, but anyways, thanks for the live stream. You're welcome. You are welcome. And hey, Aaron, easy on the donuts, buddy. Easy on donuts. I'm not saying don't partake in the donuts. I would never do that to anybody. Don't eat the whole box. Come on. And Ron, are you on here, Ron, still? My buddy Ron. Let's see here. Yep. Lance says Cindy's absolutely invited. Damn, it wouldn't be fun if we all lived within like rock throwing distance of each other. That'd be so much fun. I don't know if Ron's on here yet. I know he did a live like last week, and I think that was the only one that he's done so far. I hope that he does more of them. They're a lot of fun to watch him, and I think he did great. He did a great job. I try to catch as many lives as I can. While I have you guys here, some of you that do lives, I know Lance, you do lives, and Aaron, I know you do too. If there's anybody else on here that does lives, for number one, I apologize if I don't know if you do or not, but yeah, you won't eat a bite of them. Okay, Aaron, right? I believe you. Yeah. Anyways, listen, guys, I know Aaron, I think you brought this up the other day. correct me if I'm wrong, about trying to schedule our lives so we don't overlap other fellow content creators and their lives. Is there anybody out there that I'm overlapping in the time frame? I mean, it's a courtesy thing. It's a gentleman's gesture, put it that way. As a friend of mine at work would say, it's a gentleman's gesture. Oh, for crying out loud. This guy, I gotta go. My lights are shutting off on me. Anyways, is there any content creator that's running lives that anybody knows about at noon on Fridays? Because if there is, give me a shout out. Tell me to knock it the hell off. I'll change my schedule, even though I really don't want to. Yeah, Aaron, I hope you're not saying yup, because there is other people out there that do lives. Yeah, Aaron, am I stepping on you? Are you doing lives at noon? Come on. That's not cool of me. At this time, I don't think anybody's doing it at your time, Lance. Okay, Lance. Well, I appreciate that. Like I said, I just threw a number out there, and then Aaron, it was you that brought that up, because I was there going, somebody, it's a brilliant thing. It's like, wait a minute, I didn't even think about it. How inconsiderate. I think of everybody before myself. At least I tried to. And yet I didn't even, it's like, well, some of us try to keep a schedule. I know, Lance, you come on Saturday and Sunday mornings, if I remember correctly, like 8 or 9 o'clock or 0400 or whatever the hell it is my time. But there's a schedule, and it's nice. It's nice to have the schedule going and all that kind of thing. And then it's nice to schedule it so that nobody else, that you're not overlapping. I mean, we like to share crowds. I mean, who doesn't? This is a community, right? All right. Geez, I'm rambling. All right, guys, time for me to go. Stoker, thanks again for the content request, if you will. I appreciate it. Guys, the world's an absolute hellhole. Missiles are flying left and right. We're killing the hell out of people left and right. Well, like it or not, I don't care. Just take care of yourself, take care of your family, take care of your neighbors, watch over them. Focus on the things that you have control over and the things you have influence on. By God, your time will go much further than what it could anywhere else. All right. Let's see. Yeah, 8 a.m. your time, Saturday, Sunday. I picked that because CQ was on an hour later. Dr. Kiltz was on an hour before. It was in the middle. Perfect. See, Lance, you're considered. I for one didn't even think about the time slot that I picked, and until Aaron brought it up. I'm like, oh my God, I'm an idiot. Okay. Guys, I appreciate all of you. Stick around. Lance, you bought one of my burger presses, right? Thanks a lot, buddy. I've been making a lot of them. I'm making them right now. My printer's in the background going absolutely crazy, about ready to fall over because I'm using it too hard. Matter of fact, I have 2 of them, and I'm going to fire up the second one this weekend so I can get a handle on this nonsense that I've created, this environment that I have put myself into, if you will. Yep. You guys have a great weekend too. Guys, this is Luke, Captain Carnivore. Same time, same station. Assuming I'm not stepping on any other carnivore schedule toes next week. You guys take care. It was fun. Later.